I've been living in my van for the past year now. I got a Chevy Express, I threw my bed in it, and I began converting this van into a full-blown off-grid house, starting from absolutely nothing. There has been a lot of progress with this build. It's almost completely finished. I've been building this van up as I've been living in it too. And there's been a lot of issues with this build that I've been overcoming. So it's crucial to watch this video all the way through because I go over how to prevent amperage hunting on a generator. And generators are usually backup power, so if your generator doesn't work, you could risk sleeping in cold nights, like what I had to do when I didn't know how to troubleshoot my generator properly. Good morning. It is 4:38, and we're gonna go hit the gym. First I want to show you something though. I got this bed right here that I sleep in. It pulls out into a bed. What's so cool about my system though, my alarm clock can just go off and I can just do this. I can just roll right over, bam. I can just start making my coffee. First thing, when I hear my alarm clock go off, the first thing I do is I start my coffee. And then when I'm done sleeping, the bed folds up like this. But this is the setup right here. It's a nice setup for now. It's not finished yet. But right here, we got the sink that has running water. Oh, hang on. So over here, we got a bunch of switches, bunch of wires. This one starts the water pump. And bang, you got water. And then underneath it, it reveals the tubs that the water comes in. So this is my fresh water, this is my gray. You got a garbage can right there. And then if you do a 180, you got a fire extinguisher, and then you got a toilet. Bang, toilet. You can do both D's in this toilet and it's completely smell proof. I love it. It was a pretty expensive toilet, but I think if anybody's gonna live in a van full time, it should go pretty big on the toilet. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna wanna be somewhat comfortable. Above it, I got a mini freezer. And then next to the mini freezer, I got a full-sized fridge. I'm big into bodybuilding, so I need a lot of food. I eat like 4,000, 5,000 calories a day. Look at that. All meal preps. Delicious. Now, despite it being wintertime, it's a crisp 72 degrees or 21 degrees Celsius. That's because I got my little trusty heater right here. This heater runs off of diesel fuel. If you look underneath all of these AC lines that I haven't boarded up yet, you can see down here, I actually have a massive bucket for all the diesel to go through. And then this is the diesel line. It goes underneath the van and it goes all the way around, all the way to the heater underneath the passenger seat. And then obviously, this is my AC unit. Pretty soon I'm gonna have a nice set of cabinets right here, but for now I've just been organizing my stuff with these bags right here. These bags are basically my cabinets right now. I do have cabinets, but they're not big ones. It's basically the community pantry. I got toilet paper and food and tools all in the same pantry. And then I got a smaller one over here that just houses smaller stuff. I got little bags, little organization bags. This is a little tool bag, and then some portable battery chargers. Next to the fridge, I got a massive snow pusher for the solar panels that I use a lot. Because some days it'll snow, but then earlier in the evening the sun will come out. So my solar panels can take the sun and convert it into energy. And when it converts that energy, it sends it over to this battery bank right here. I got 6 100 amp hour batteries, so we got 600 amp hours of battery. I also got this inverter right here. It's a big console that'll convert 120 volts into 12 volts. What I ended up doing is I ended up putting a 120 volt breaker panel on top of it so I can run 120 volt objects as well and not just 12 volt stuff. Because behind these bags I got 12 volt stuff. I got these little USB ports so I can charge my phone and stuff. These lights are 12 volts, and then this water pump's 12 volts as well. I even have a fan that's 12 volts. This AC unit is 12 volts. But there are some things in the van that are not 12 volts, like these fridges, for example. And I hid a vacuum cleaner back here that's 120 volts. This vacuum cleaner is awesome. It can reach all around my van quickly, efficiently, does the job. Love it. This box right here, this is just where my propane tank is. Next to it, this is essentially my tools for now because I'm building this van out as I'm living in it. So I gotta have some tools on me to work on the van build. My favorite part about this van build though is this nice slatted ceiling. Nobody really sees it, but in my eyes, this is all I see. And then if you're laying in the couch like this and you look to the left, you got a little nightstand right here. This is the controller for the fan. a little notepad so I can take notes in my sleep. Then I got another light switch right here. These light switches are dimmable. With that being said, I'm probably gonna go hit the gym pretty soon. I can't stand up straight in here, but I don't really mind getting down like this. But that's the tour. Let's go hit the gym. All right, today's upper lower. We just warmed up. So let's hit actual working sets now. We're starting off with dumbbell chest presses.
The stories they put into
chest presses on this standard machine here, just the pushing forward machine. When you're doing these lifts, it's very important, guys, that you keep this seat at a specific level. Now, the level that I have this set at is to give my chest the availability to push it forward and backwards. Now, if I come down like right here, I push it forwards and backwards too. But what's gonna happen to your joints is you're gonna realize you're putting a lot of work on your joints when you lower the seat too low like this. Even me, I'm like 6'3", and I can still feel a lot of tension on my joints when I lower my seat and I'm going like this. I feel it all in my shoulders right now, and that's a bad sign. Now, when you go all the way up with it, technically you could train this, but still, look at that. It almost looks funny and it feels really funny because I'm basically grabbing the machine. That's not right. I can feel it in my shoulders. If you feel stress in your shoulders like that, you shouldn't be training it that way. That's why I like to just put my seat right in the middle. And I'm a tall person too, so you just gotta adjust the seat. You don't wanna be blasting your joints. You wanna be blasting your muscles. All right, we're gonna be on this fly machine right here. We're gonna be doing a drop set on this one. And if you're training full intensity, then you don't need to be blasting your volume either. You don't need to be doing a ton of volume if you got good intensity. It's unnecessary. But the most important part is that you're progressively overloading. Every single week you should be adding either reps or more weight to your load. Like, I'm doing good this week. I progressively overloaded a few pounds and a few reps at the same time, which is awesome. So as long as you're seeing progress, as long as you're making progress, it's really all that matters. I usually do the concentration curls, which are these. I usually do those. And then they also got, some gyms have the machines where it's strictly made for concentration curls, and you can do them with the easy bar. So before I start any muscle group, I always make sure I warm up. So I usually just do 50% load for a few reps. So like this, for example, I'll just do like, I don't know, 3 reps. You don't have to overthink it. You're just warming up. You don't need to overthink anything. So then I'll go to about 60 or 70% load that I'd normally do. So like what, RPE 6 or 7, and then I'll just do 2 reps. And then you're just slowly increasing your weight until you get to your working load weight. So this is like RPE 8, and I'm just gonna do 2 reps. And then this is my working load that I'm gonna be lifting right here, but I'm only gonna do 1 rep just for the warm up. It seems like a lot of people like to tend to work their muscles way too hard when they're warming up. I like to just do a little warm up and then call it good. We did 7 reps last week, so we're gonna go for 8 or more right now. And we're gonna drop set too. All right, I just got off of work. I'm gonna take a second, And I've been kind of working on this vanity right here on my 3D modeling program. It's basically a mirrored image of what I got going on right now, but I didn't really like how this one turned out. I also have some wires running through in a spot that I'm not okay with, so I need to restart. But it's not a horrible thing because this vanity was more so of like a practice build anyways for the real thing, and it was just to get me by. So this is kind of a temporary vanity. I'm getting ready to build the actual vanity pretty soon though. So I don't know if you can see it, but this is the game plan for the actual vanity that I want to do. And it's nice because I can save all this time driving home, because what am I going to do? I'm going to drive home and I'm going to do this anyways. I got long commutes for work, so it's nice that I can just get right into my van and just lock in. Alright, so if you're having this problem and you got one of these 3000 watt inverter chargers, you clicked on the right video, because I finally figured out how to fix this. For the longest time I didn't know how to fix this generator issue, and I was literally sleeping in the cold because I would run out of power. So the reason why it's running so high is if you press on this button right here for 3 seconds, okay, now you scroll up to program 11. This means that 75 amps is being pulled from shore. That's too high. It was making my generator amperage hunt, and it was shutting down, and it was going all the way down to 0 amps, and it wasn't really pulling anything despite running. You can also hear that the generator was adding a ton of power every time I plugged in. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click on the amps part, and you just want to lower your amps. Now, because what this system is doing is you're setting the system up to tell your generator or your power source how much amps to power through. So if you're doing a generator, you can probably be safe with 50 amps. So you just press this button to confirm it, and then you press this rewind button, shut your inverter off completely, and then you turn it back on. That's how to reset it. Now, if you want to plug this into like a house or a campground 120 volt outlet, you'd want to go back to your amperage settings. You want to go to program 1. You want to have it set to UEI, which is what we already have it set to. So you can get out of that. You go to program 11. 50 amps is still too high for a power source. My shore is rated at 30 amps. So 30 amps is the maximum that I can do. You don't need to do 30 amps. You can lower it if you want. You can go all the way down to 5 amps if you want. But personally, I just stick to 30 amps. As long as you don't have any 120 volt systems running in the van while you're plugged in, this should work. Now, if you want to change back to generator, you want to go up to your 50 amps, again, on program 11. But then you want to go back to program 1, and you want to change it to SBU. This is for your generator. This is the controls that you want for your generator. Now it's set for the generator again. So whenever you readjust your system, you need to save it with the rewind button, and then you need to power your inverter off completely and power it back on to actually have it reset. Good. Good. So I got all these tools, but I have to build a tool here. I need to make a larger version of this tool. It needs to be perfectly square. Bam, bam, perfect 90-degree angle. But it needs to be a lot bigger than this, so I'm gonna build one. I'm gonna cut 2 boards at 20 inches. These are just standard 2x4s. So now if you come over here, we have a screw in this corner. Don't mind the wood breaking. This is just a tool that we're using. Doesn't need to be perfect. So when I unclamp this, I can pivot this board here. You see that? One way we can do this is we can butt it up like this, but that may not be as accurate. This might work, so we're gonna clamp it, and then we can actually check it over. Notice how I clamped it right here and not over here. I don't want to clamp it on my pivot point, so it's not going anywhere as long as it doesn't fall. So you can do the 3, 4, 5 method where you pull 3 inches, then you pull 4 inches. Then when you connect those, you get 5 inches. Now you can do it in ratios of 6, 8, and 10, or 9, 12, and 15. I'm gonna go for 9, 12, and 15. 12, 9, when we put these numbers together, it should get 15. Bam, look at that, we're 15 right on the dot. So that means that this is perfectly square. So now that it's perfectly square, let's run our screw through it. We're gonna give a screw in this corner now. Part that sucks is I brought a crappy bit, and I'm not gonna go into the store to buy a new one. Maybe I should have extra bits in here. Now that this is built, this is pretty good. And then if you're gonna build a bigger one, you might wanna put a little stabilizing brace. So I'll show you how to do that right now. So this square right here, we know that this is a 90, and then half of 90 is 45. So we got 45 and a 90. We're gonna use this 45 on this board here. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm just building this before I do it. You guys don't mind if I'm working for like...
No, you're okay.
Okay, thanks.
Nobody cares around here, honestly.
Oh yeah. Theoretically, since we got 2 45s, look at that. That's how you check it over, and that's also how you stabilize your square too. So there you go, you got your square. You're gonna see this square in a future video when I build my cabinets.